I thought everything was all right, you know, until my girl invited me to church. And boy, I got confronted with it. I got confronted with the 10 commandments, not the 10 suggestions, you know, 10 commandments, God's perfect law. The 10th commandment, that what? You mustn't covet, I did it. 9th commandment, you mustn't lie. The 8th commandment, that you mustn't steal. 7, you mustn't commit adultery or commit any kind of illicit sin like fornication, which I was guilty of. You know what I'm saying? Then it come to the 6th commandment, that you mustn't kill. I'd killed people with the way that I thought about them. I might not have gone up and shanked them or stabbed them or shoot them, but you know what? I did it in my heart. 5th commandment, I hadn't honored my mother and father in the way that I ought to have. The 4th, I didn't keep the Sabbath holy. I didn't care about no day of the week apart from that which pleased me. You know what I mean? I met my needs. The 3rd commandment, I'd taken the name of the Lord, my God, who I'd rejected. I'd taken his name in vain. 2nd commandment, I'd bow down to idols like music in my life. 1st commandment, I didn't love God with all my heart, all my soul, all my strength and all my might. I'd busted and broken every one of the commandments, and I stood guilty before God. Guilty, guilty. What does a guilty man do? Well, you know what? I bawled out, cried out for mercy, asked God to forgive me on the basis of his goodness. And you know what? He turned my life around. Truly, we call him not just the Christ, not the Lamb of God, who come to save sinners like me. But you know what? We call him the Revolver, because he proper turned my life around.
For real, the Revolver hit me like a blast in the heart, and he filled the hole that I had in my soul. That's when my life started to revolve. Yeah. I lost control when I took a hold of the revolver.
I tried to duck from the buck, tried to find something to protect me, but my conscience wouldn't let me. No, I couldn't run far. I hid behind a car. He had some kind of sonar, and yo, he tracked me like a radar. And as the bullets start to splurt, the only feeling of hurt was my pride. Start to rip me up inside. 1 to the head, 2 to the chest, made me confess all my sin and all the mess that I'd been living in. And as I lay prostrate on my face, I couldn't move, thinking I was dead, lying in pools of liquid red. From head to toe, I was soaked in a crimson cloak. My life flashed before me, but wait a minute, it wasn't me bleeding. I just couldn't understand. It was the blood of another man, the blood of the Lamb. No entry wounds or scars in it. I knew the game was over, and I'd been hit by the Revolver.
For real, and you see me? Watch out. I grew up in church. From the age of 2 years old, a church kid. Heard 1,000 sermons. I was moral. I'd never smoked weed. I'd never fornicated. I'd never been out there, and I was a coward, man. I couldn't even shoplift. And you know what? I tell you, having been abandoned from birth, I realized is that even though I was moral and I lived good, I needed Jesus.
Jesus.
I needed forgiveness.
For real.
For real. I mean, you think about my life. Listen. Entered my world and got abandoned like a broke down car. Mom, I still don't know who you are. Dad weren't around much. Grew with Gran who lived the meaning of love. And like a coat hanger, Jesus hooked me up from above.
Yeah.
I'm that church kid who never did a bid, never pulled a heist, never took a life. Once I walked on road with a knife. Yeah, I popped a gun, but not at anyone. Round my ends, it's often done. So I'm digging diamonds from the dung. It's E minor.
Yeah.
M.O.
Yeah, that's me, Rob Rhyme the Pilgrim. That's our world.